Now, I know that especially this custom hook thing can be confusing. Also because we built a quite complex custom hook here. You can definitely have simpler ones than this one, but I wanted to show one where you can learn a lot. The idea of custom hooks is that you share logic, not data. So what we do here is we share logic that we use in both the search and also in the ingredients component. And when we send a request in ingredients, this doesn't do anything in search, and the other way around as well. This is how it should be. You're able to share stateful logic across components. And it is stateful because in our custom hook, we're using useReducer to manage some state. And when we dispatch a new action here, this actually triggers React to rebuild the component where we use the hook. So we're not having a regular JavaScript function here, but a function where we can do certain things that will lead React to rebuild the component in which we're using this function, this hook. That's the idea of hooks. And whilst custom hooks can be confusing at first, they can be very powerful because we were able to move all of that HTTP logic out of this component, and instead we just send off some requests and we handle the responses in useEffect. And that, of course, also is a pattern you have to get used to. Normally, you would expect send request to return a promise and then use then or async await to handle this. And you could do this, by the way. You could absolutely have send request return a promise. Here it's not returning anything. Well, we could, of course, return the result of fetch, and now send request would all of a sudden return a promise. You could do that, and you would be able to implement this in a totally different way. You would be able to simply listen to the response here and handle a response here instead of doing it in useEffect. This split into a place where you send it and then useEffect where you handle it can be especially confusing at first, but this actually embraces hooks and uses their full potential. Because I believe it's a very clean code in the end, where we have a clearly defined place where we change some data in our component here, and we could have multiple useEffect calls, of course, if we have multiple side effects. So we have a clearly defined place where we do that, and we have another place where we dispatch our actions, so to say, where we send our requests. Again, it is something that certainly takes time getting used to. It's not a must-do. You could return a promise and use your regular flow, but I think this split is very nice, very clean, and most importantly, this overall use of a custom hook and of hooks in general allows us to write very clean code with clear responsibilities, which can be challenging at first, but which ultimately will allow you to write better, cleaner, and probably also better performing applications.